Hey guys, Mr. Pokke here, back with another video, and today we are going to be taking a look at some of the more intricate details that you might have missed in the Neverness to Everness trailer brought to you by the CN community. I feel like for this particular game, the lore session goes kind of hard, in fact a lot deeper than what I've expected. It kind of reminds me of like the back rooms, the Anomalies, if you guys kind of watch like this kind of like analog horror stories or kind of stuff, SCP foundations. So overall I think it's very interesting. So without further ado, let's get into today's content. Subscribe! The video we're taking a look at today is going to be from Bilibili. Alright, I'm just going to be muting the CN segment because you guys don't really understand, but I'll just be translating kind of the stuff that they point out during the trailer itself, as well as some of the hidden secrets during some of the cutscenes. So the first things first, right here, it's going to be this tower over here. They are going to call this a Santolo, or rather the Battle Tower, and this will be the first instance which kind of brings us as the viewer as to what kind of world or like what kind of like anomalies are we going to be dealing with within Neverness to Everness, right? First unit that is going to be appearing is going to be called Nanali or Nanali, right? This is going to be our very first unit, part of the antique faction, right, which you guys will see later on. But for this specific tower that we've seen in the first instance, you can see that it might look like this is the same tower, but it is undergoing some kind of a weird anomaly change, like some sort of red flowy ribboning aura thingies. There are way more changes to just the tower itself. It's kind of like a alternate reality kind of thing. So you can clearly see this from this over here, right? So he's gonna be showing you guys from the anomaly tower, which is a tower that's glowing with the red streaks and lights all over the place. You can see that the bridge is now curved. It is a curved bridge. Whereas if we were to go back into our original tower, the battle tower, the bridge is a straight bridge. So it kind of tells us that if we were to encounter these kind of like anomalies happening, you are no longer in the same plane of reality when you enter into battle, which you have seen from the previous combat trailer. When you were to go into battle, you kind of go into like this different world. So that is going to be one of the things that kind of brings us into the environment differences, even though they are inherently the same object, right? It is roughly the same tower, but the environment really much changed drastically when you are undergoing this weird anomaly kind of situation. This is kind of like the entire structure of Neverness to Everness. You guys are aware of the Bedroom series or any kind of shows where you are like transported into an alternate reality. So as a player, you're probably going to be traversing around the world set in Neverness to Everness, but during battle or during these kind of like anomaly stages, that's when your environment changes and you enter in this alternate reality and you're going to fight some of the random and weird and potentially even dangerous occurrences happening within the battlefield, right? So another thing that we're gonna be take a look over here is going to be these flyers that they show in the first trailer. Note that for these flyers, there are more than meets the eye, specifically referring to the little numbers over here. So these flyers, they were also there in the previous trailer. Note that each of these flyers, this is gonna be 167, this is gonna be 147, this is going to be 387. This is going to be 199. So all of these respective flyers, they have this weird tag. And another interesting thing to note is that for this specific car poster, this car trailer over here, this says 387. But another car poster says 386, even though they are both showing us the same car shop. So there might be either a different car shop or within the same car shop, there might be something more that meets the eye over here. So then going on to this. Now, this is kind of like the bounty, right? This is kind of like the SCPs, the different entities roaming around in Neverness to Everness, and I'm pretty sure that we as the players, we are supposed to like capture them, sort of like a bounty system. So in this case, it is the dude riding on a skateboard, and the bounty is currently at $1 million, right? So that is going to be our first clue as to how combat is going to be like within Neverness to Everness. Pretty much like capturing these kind of like creatures and anomalies running astray and like disturbing the peace within the city, right? Note that for this specific section, this is going to be the first instance of the banner, right? So this is going to be $1 million. But eventually later on towards another segment of the trailer, this has now doubled to $2 million, which means that this anomaly, this skateboard anomaly, is still roaming around, and nobody has been able to capture this guy. So now the poster of this bounty has doubled the reward. All right. So it also further signifies to us how this entire combat system is going to be like. And another thing to kind of keep in mind over here is this. Okay, you guys can't really see it, but it essentially translates into provide video and evidence when you are capturing this skateboard anomaly. Do not blank blank blank. So this is 不要. It's something that we're not supposed to do. I am pretty sure it's something related to like killing it. So we're probably not supposed to kill these anomalies. Alright, but that is just an assumption. Now that's gonna be that. And moving on to another point, which is how these anomalies or creatures, they coexist with the normal humans or the citizens within Neverness to Everness. It's not exactly like Pokemon, right? But like they are basically coexisting, and they also have pretty much blended into the society, into our world, right? So it's kind of like SCP, right? They are directly quoting to the SCP Foundation. If you guys are aware of the SCP series. So this is going to be one of the NPCs. Right, so this is one of the NPC that we're going to be seeing in our antique shop that helps us with our data and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a helpful NPC, and there are more than just this singular instance of this NPC. So another one, you can see this octopus dude over there. That's also another NPC, which is pretty much also an anomaly, as well as the butler that we encountered during our time in our apartment. He is also considered as an anomaly, and you notice that some of these NPCs, they're more sentient than others, right? This guy actually has intelligence, he can speak properly, and it also shows us that some of the anomalies or the SCPs or whatever, they also have like kind of like human rights or like anomaly rights to allow them to pretty much merge and coexist with us within our society, being pretty much like members of society, contributing to our daily needs and overall activities in the world, right? So really interesting to see, which means that some of the other anomalies that we're kind of like hunting or like capturing, pretty much like criminals or like anomalies that have gone rogue, whereas there are also good anomalies within Neverness to Everness that still coexist in our society, gonna help the player, right? So, and now moving on to the next point is gonna be this display over here. This is going to be the notification which will tell players if we're on the right track heading towards the anomaly, right? So you can see when we're driving towards the anomaly, this is gonna be the Inferno Rider scene. This is where we're approaching this like disturbance wave or disturbance area. So that means that we are approaching the anomaly. It is an indicator where between the normal open world exploration in Neverness to Everness, there's also this other layer where once you are approaching an area with anomalies, or if you are transported into this alternate dimension, like I mentioned at the start of the video, then they will show you this indicator, so you're probably gonna have to prepare for combat, right? Okay, moving on to specifically the skateboard anomaly, which is gonna be the first anomaly that we'll witness being captured by Nanali as well as a crew, right? Very first thing you guys have noticed, which is the entire landscape of this entire town and map is absolutely massive. So I wouldn't be surprised if players were to go around and explore a lot of different regions with a lot of different means of transportations. Getting around the map is a very urban, like kind of like Grand Theft Auto, this kind of stuff. So it's a pretty big exploration map for players to kind of get around and hunt down these anomalies, right? So the first instance of the skateboard anomaly is going to climb up, and you can see that his skateboard also has the ability to kind of skateboard around walls and completely defying the laws of physics, which is also applied to Nanali over here. So when we first saw this scene previously, I was pretty fucking shocked when this person is like, oh my god, she can actually run up walls. So we're not exactly sure if this was a ability that is provided to the entire cast in this world of Neverness to Everness, where every single character can just walk on walls and like physics just gravity, it just doesn't apply here. Or is this specifically tied to Nanali herself? Or maybe it could be a special ability or something that you unlock upon capturing the skateboard anomaly. So that is going to be something that we will see going forward, right? So now you can see we kind of have the little afterglow walking around the wall. So we just have to see if this is going to be applied to our other units. Locking on, right? She's basically locking on to the target, and the chase is about to begin. At this point, you also want to notice she is not standing on the floor, but rather she's standing on the walls. She is quite literally standing like this is the wall. She's literally standing like this, right? So the perception of like physics, it really just flies out the window, right? So yep, pretty cool. She logs on and summons forth her abilities, which goes ahead and try to hit the target. So these are the combat abilities, and we're probably going to see something similar going forward into the future. And unfortunately, didn't quite nail the skateboard anomaly, but she lands him into the trap, and he tumbles into the floor, losing his balance, and that's where we get introduced to our further castment. So you can see here, this is going to be the same antique shop NPC anomaly that we have seen from just now, which is going to be working with us, right? So this is the friendly anomaly, as well as another brand new unit, which is also part of the I guess our same faction, right? So this is gonna be like the unit that kind of reminds you of Bailu. She is kind of like Bailu plus Herta, and she's also the same faction as Nali, and she is finally the one to finally subdue the skateboard anomaly by fucking smashing his face with his giant 400 kilograms hammer, absolutely devastating him and pretty much putting an end to the overall anomaly hunt, right? You can see the onlookers, they notice the explosions. They are not really terrified. It's more like, oh wow, interesting. So this is kind of probably gonna be a normal occurrence for the citizens within Neverness to Everness. So nothing too crazy here. They're just like, oh, there it is again. You guys have to see it. Nobody's really scared. It's just like, okay, fine. It's just another thing that's going on with our daily lives. So there's something to be there. And then, yep, we have pretty much captured this skateboard anomaly from the antique shop faction, right? So that's gonna be the first thing. And now introducing our next faction, which is gonna be a brand new faction of a brand new 3 units running around the car with absolute disregard for human lives. So this is the brand new cars that we're going to be introduced to, the Porterhouse Basi, right? So they are kind of reminiscent of like the IPC association. They are kind of like bounty hunters essentially, right? To be completely fair, most of our units, they're also kind of like working towards the commissions to capture anomalies. But this specific crew is also kind of like giving me like Sterile Hunters kind of vibe. Sterile Hunter X IPC. It reminds me of Jade, and this is kind of, she just straight up like Kiana, and then she is like a, I don't know, like a Bailu silver kind of thing, right? So that's gonna be that. The 3 brand new cars from a brand new different faction, and we're gonna see them hunting down our next anomaly. And unfortunately, they encounter into an accident right ahead of them, so they are forced to kind of drift out, and we are gonna be revealed that this accident is gonna be caused by our brand new Guihuo motor, which is gonna be our Ghost Flame motorcyclist, right? So they are basically doing this high-speed chase. So all of the events in the car, all this time where we're gonna be hunting down the Ghost Rider, it is basically from this story quest over here, right? So we're gonna be trying this down. We step gas onto the pedal, and it's just a goofy moment. She swings the car, unfortunately dropping this red little ball, so it's gonna be fly out of the car as she loses possession. So that might have some significance later on in the story. We're not exactly sure. I also noticed how this unit over here has wings, and she's preparing to take flight, right? So, and at this current moment, the one-winged girl, she only has one wing, decided to, you know what? I'm out, jump, bounce, and she uses the ball to summon her own motorcycle. I'm not exactly sure if it's from the ball or if it's just like just caught and just gonna pass it along. But yeah, she basically summons her own motorcycle, and she proceeds to conduct the chase by herself. If anything, we have already seen that Neverness to Everness has the cars and the vehicles, right? So I wouldn't be too surprised if we can also ride motorcycles within the game, right? So that's going to be quite interesting. So going forward, very nice, good view, and the camera changes angle into another faction. This time, kind of reminiscent of like the Korba version. You can see that they do have the name tags over here, right? So they might be belonging to like the government association, all right? Or somewhat similar to like a, you know, Korba role, something like that. So they are the only ones of us with this kind of name tag. So we probably need to see what exactly this organization is. Are they official? Are they like another subsidiary? Big Korba? What is this? We are not exactly sure. So that is gonna be our third faction, and you can see that that is where a interesting scenario is going to be happening around this segment, where coins land on this lolly character. Gold coins starts falling from the sky, and later on this is being goofy. Later on, we are going to be introduced to Mint, which you guys will see later. It is basically the adult version of Hui Hui, right? So she's kind of like Hui Hui, but like adult, right? And then this is like a pretty interesting Jujutsu Kaisen reference, right? They basically Bankai, Domain Expansion, all that kind of stuff, and they basically lock in, and they decided, oh, an anomaly is in the corner. It is time to subdue this anomaly. So they basically go up, insane camera, and we turn into the action live, where both civilians and anomalies are panicking in face of this evil monster anomaly, which means that anomalies and human beings, they are both coexisting in the same role as like members of society, right? So they are legitimately just like they're pretty much like living hand in hand, right? So there are also normal anomalies that just work with us, whereas there are also monsters that we kind of need to subdue, right? So very, very interesting. And also, yeah, this is a literal trash can. So holy honky Starbucks reference, right? So that is a literal trash can. And then there is gonna be the anomaly monster right behind that, which is something that Mint is gonna be subduing, right? And that is gonna be Mint, right? So this is gonna be Mint sprinting across from the field and using her abilities to kind of smash this boom, 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 hit critical hit, critical hit. And you can see that the anomaly is kind of like a cat or a tiger, a saber wolf cat or a tiger. So she is doing damage, not dealing enough. Unfortunately, she's getting really, really tired. The friends are coming in to help her out. Alright, so that is where the winged angel, the winged girl, the one that we see just now from the car where she summoned a ring and ride a motorcycle, that's where she arrives and passes her this ball, which is the same ball that dropped out from the car earlier on. And you can see how she's like fumbling, like the classic cat lady, just fumbling and just completely clueless all the. And now, oh my god, two new character, and now they come face to face with this Zhao Caimao. So basically, Zhao Caimao is like the kind of like a representation of wealth. It's like a little token idol of like wealth, where it kind of brings in money or kind of stuff. So like all of the coins that we see just now, it is Zhao Caimao anomaly. It's coming from the Fortune Cat anomaly, which kind of ties into like her purpose. I guess she's trying to get her good payday, because if they subdue this anomaly, they're gonna get a shit ton of coins, which is gonna make them very, very rich, right? So that's kind of the reason why she's kind of trying to subdue this anomaly. And unfortunately, the others don't really this Lolly, I think she doesn't really want to help her, but the dude is like, nope, you're coming along, and they're all gonna go ahead and help subdue this anomaly. You can see that there's a ridiculous amount of coins generated from trying to subdue cat over here, right? So yeah, you can see that that's where the anomaly is kind of getting captured, and then the coin, or this might be the currency of the world, or it just might be, you know, from the fortune cat, which doesn't really represent anything. So we're not really sure. There's a little letter F over here, right? All right, now jumping into the next trailer, which is going to be introducing us to even more units and their overall faction. So this is going to be the first faction belonging to the antique shop, right? So this guy over here, he is pretty much the owner of the shop, looking like wealth, right? Kind of maintaining the shop, keeping everything nice and tidy. And this is going to be another thing that we should have noticed, and this is going to be a friend. Notice how this unit over here is someone that hasn't been revealed yet. Looks like the Holy Mami Aboba. I'm not really sure. Looking forward to see her in the future. Just waiting for an appearance. And notice how this monster anomaly here. At first, I thought it was like, wait, is that another NPC that we're not introduced? But I realized that this is literally her hammer. So now it's kind of going towards like the monster hunter areas where our units can make use of anomalies to be their literal weapons. You can see that her weapon is the literal anomaly itself. So we are literally making use of weapons to beat other anomalies. We're using anomalies to beat other, quite literally, right? So there's gonna be one weapon, and you can see that even for Nanali, her weapons also have a little bit of the cat paws just now. Alright, so something to keep in mind. And that's gonna be our antique shop owner, and then he kind of summons anomalies to kind of help him around. So I feel that the technology of this role pretty much is tying towards utilizing these anomalies that either we have captured or defeated and making them into our weapon. So it is very, very reminiscent of this whole monster hunter system where we make use of the monster's parts to make ourselves stronger, right? So a pretty good, nice touch detail. And this is going to be Mint, and that is going to be her stuff. And this unit over here probably might be the main character, right? They're thinking that this unit over here might be our MC, right? So something to keep in mind. And then you can see, oh my god, holy angles, very, very good, very, very basement of culture. So that's gonna be that. Yeah, pretty big. All right, going forward, and now we are going into another segment or another trailer. Keep the room dark. So there is gonna be another anomaly looking a little bit more monkas, a little bit more creepy this time. They are probably somewhat similar to like a film anomaly. You can see how they are like film tapes over. So this might be an anomaly that is derived from like movies. It probably came from a theater, and then this just became a monster from there, right? So anomalies probably occur from like our pretty much everyday occurrences, right? Movies, Fortune Cat, the Fortune Cat idol, the motorcycle, and this guy is a literal movie. The exact law of how anomalies are made, we're not exactly sure. And then jumping into another realm over here, completely monkas. Gravity is gone. There's a random moon. I'm not sure if it is blood. This is like a classroom looking thing. And you can notice that there is something else that is even more sinister. which is these things floating on top. And I'm going to be showing you guys over here. So this kind of also ties into our tower that we saw at the very start of the video, where there's this spherical object right here, which could also be an eye. And the reason why this is an eye is because later on, as you can see when we're approaching this back rooms looking thing, the room is gonna close up and this unit appears and the eyes open. So I thought that for a gacha game, this was really fun, guys. It really like a horror, especially this scene in particular. It was like straight out of a horror movie, like a horror game. Room turns red, and then there's a red door, and then the light just starts dimming. So that was a pretty nice touch, right? So yeah, anyways, this person then enters from a portal, and the moment she enters, the eyes open up within this parallel universe or like classroom, whatever, and then she seems to have the ability to traverse around the different dimensions, which might be something that will help us traverse along this different stages as well, right? Because you can remember from our trailer, our main characters, and whenever we want to explore these new realms, we enter into a portal. So this person might just be the person responsible for creating these portals. We're not gonna be exactly sure if she's gonna be a foe and an ally, but you can see that she definitely does have an impact on the alternate anomaly reality, right? As you can see, when she enters, all of the eyes open up, and then she opens another portal, and then she tells us, you can now leave. You can tell us you can now leave. From this POV, she's probably going to be telling us as the main character, are we stuck here? Are we trapped here? Are we free to go? Who is this person? Is she a friend or foe? Then we'll probably have to wait through to the main story and find out exactly what's going on, right? And then once we camera cut into the real world, so this is kind of like the whole GTA Persona vibe, where we are just seeing how absolutely massive this entire world is. So there's definitely putting a lot of effort into making this. So jumping all the way to the edge, you can see that this little part over here, this little spark, it is the exact same spark that we have seen from the very start of the video over here. It is probably gonna be the exact same place, right? So that is probably the edge of the place. Not sure if it's a tree or a spark, but yep, so that is gonna be that. And then as it pans out even more, oh yeah, okay, it's fireworks, right? It is fireworks. As it pans out even more, zoom out, and then we can see this little English words over here, or this whatever symbol. So this might be the big corpa that belongs to the individual workers holding the name tags, right? Just a theory, right? So another word, then they zoom out even more, you can see that there is the anomaly tower that we've seen all the way from the start. So that might just be a key point of our main story, right? Because this tower has appeared quite frequently. It is pretty much only tower that has this weird red tendrils flying off the place, right? And then you can see that this bridge also pretty much connects this city to another city in another zone. And it kind of shows you the scale of the map this entire game has, which is absolutely massive, and it zooms back into pretty much our room, right? So this is going to be our room we have seen from the apartment, and we can see that there's also a little cat house over here, right? And we also have our own cat, so there might very well be a pet system going on in Neverness to Everness, right? So that is going to be very nice for players. So if you want to own cats, or maybe we can go on dogs, I don't know, who knows, right? So that's going to be, and you can see that our apartment over here, there are only 2 rooms with lights on. This is our room, which is going to be at the 7th floor. And then this is going to be another room at the 4th floor. So we're not exactly sure who is going to be living in this room, or this might just be a common area with utilities, maybe the gym, or like hangout, co-op, multiplayer, who knows, right? But that is going to be the only 2 rooms that light on. And then that will pretty much wrap up the overall city of the landscape. You can see that the environment and the lighting changes a lot in Neverness to Everness. This is going to be probably early morning, then this is probably going to be towards the late evening, and this is going to be actually night itself, and then this is going to be like maybe afternoon or something like that, right? So the environment definitely changes a lot. The lights, the clouds, the rain, you guys have seen the rain, right? The graphic design that has been going into this game has been absolutely ridiculous. I would not believe this was a gacha game if I've seen it for the first time, right? So yeah, and finally, this is going to be our final Easter egg before we wrap up this video, which is going to be, yep, this is the same anomaly that we have captured. So it turns out that the entire time, this red little ball that was coming out from the car and then passing up, this red ball belongs to the cat anomaly, the fortune cat anomaly. So once we gave the red ball to the cat anomaly, I think it just kind of went back to its original form of being the fortune cat, and yeah, it's very cute. So this is where we have subdued the anomaly and then go back to their original form. And you can see here, Mint just looking absolutely a boba, absolutely looking. So that might kind of throw us in a system where if the anomalies are in their enraged on the monster home, probably just need to tame or subdue them, and then they will become friendly again, right? So I don't think we necessarily need to kill anything for now until we meet like even more main villains, which we have not known yet, right? So there is a lot of depth so far that we have seen from the Neverness to Everness trailer, right? With that, we have pretty much come to the end of everything that you might have missed out from the Neverness to Everness trailer. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Join Discord, village, all the kind of stuff, right? That's all I have for today. All the best for your gacha pools, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.